So, I want to come on here and talk about how to win an argument for a highly sensitive person like myself. So, I'm not sure what happened in my childhood because I was naturally a very outgoing, expressive, even aggressive kid. I remember I punched someone in the face one time just for the hell of it. And then as I got a little bit older, I became more reserved, scared, more like I don't know what happened. More I became more a bit timid. So I don't know what happened. Somewhere I changed. It was like a flip. I went from this rambunctious, wild, untamed kid to this insecure child. And it may have been due to bullying from my sister and maybe even, I don't know, being around my parents who scream a lot and fuss a lot and yell a lot. I don't know what happened. But honestly, regardless of what happened, I had to kind of learn how to navigate in the world because the world we live in thrives on conflict, problem solving in relationships, overcoming problems with each other. And so, I was never naturally a fan of conflict. When I was a kid, yeah, I was aggressive for no reason. I would just be I'm gonna do what I want. I'll punch you in the face. It was terrible, honestly. I was a wild child. And maybe my parents was this child is out of control. We need to you know, calm her down, put her in a box or something. Maybe that's what happened. But, there's so much conflict in the world, and I realize that you do have to learn how to deal with the conflict. If you weren't taught, most people aren't taught how to deal with that. So I taught myself how to deal with conflict and not, get too aggressive or back down or run away. These are all things I've done in the past. In the past, when conflict has arose or feel nervous inside, I'm going to tell you what helped me to be able to embrace conflict and take it on and, breathe through it, stay calm, patient, and present with poise and grace, and how to navigate through it to where your desirable outcome is the one that wins. So, how do you do this? First of all, you have to control your emotions. And I learned how to do this by socializing with other people. I went to school for different things at different times, and I learned how to socialize with others. And, it takes controlling your emotions to socialize with others, to kind of by just speaking to them, making sure you guys are on the same wavelength, making sure you're not too overly excited or too passive. So you gotta find that balance of what works well socially to where you're at an equilibrium during conversation, natural, normal conversation, and able to make friends and able to relate to other people and have that back and forth exchange of energy. So this took me a bit to practice because, like I said, I used to be a wild child, really rambunctious and aggressive. And I remember I always had a lot of energy. And I remember sometimes I would be just overly excited, just just naturally, just excited, just filled up with so much energy and just like happy to see people. And you know, this wasn't the energy of the equilibrium that everybody as functioning people in society function from. Now, I'm not saying it's bad to be really energetic and happy. It's just not the norm in your everyday average person. And you're likely to be taken less serious if you know, are coming into interactions with such a high energy. So I learned to tone down my energy. I honestly had to like bring down my vibration. I was naturally at like a high vibration, and I had to bring that down to where other people can relate to me more. I mean, I'm not saying I'm any more relatable than I was, because I'm not. But it just makes it easier to relate to people. It makes you seem more normal, it makes you seem more digestible, makes you seem like a worthy opponent of a conflict, for example. Because if, like I said in the beginning, if you're too up here, they're not gonna wanna, you know, go into an energetic exchange with you. If you're too low vibrational, they're gonna pass you by. You're too boring. And what else helped me? Honestly, smoking marijuana while doing meditation and yoga and taking dance classes really helped disperse all this extra energy that I had. And I'm being totally transparent with you. You know, I was never like a pothead. I honestly like used marijuana very intentionally. Marijuana was like a godsend for me. Like it really helped my nervous system. Like it really brought to the surface the emotions that I was avoiding deep down inside. And it really helped me to, you know, sit with those uncomfortable feelings, feel them and release them. And doing yoga and meditation along with that, it just equalized my energy to where I could kind of spread out my energy in different ways that will make me a functional person of society, to where I can be taken seriously and, you know, not look like a crazy person, so to say. So I did a lot of energy work, you know, I learned a lot. I took massage therapy classes. I also learned a lot in there, and that really taught me a lot. So much, it's so much to talk about. I would be sitting here for like hours talking about everything I learned in my massage therapy class relating to energy and working with that. But the number one thing I took away from massage therapy class was the energy that I shared with my classmates, and like recognizing like who was who and how we related to each other, and what two people couldn't even be around each other, like conflicts that would arise. And I noticed like sometimes when there's like two opposing energies, they naturally go into conflict. And you know, sometimes your energy can be so much for this person, it will expel them out. And this is a great concept when it comes to winning arguments and coming out on top in conflict, because the energy you walk into that conflict with, and the energy exchange that you're exchanging with the other person, greatly entails if you are gonna win, or if this is best to just not engage in. There are people that you should avoid conflict with at all costs. And this is only if you are a highly sensitive person. If you get nervous in conflicts, if you shy away from conflicts, if you feel fear, anxiety, if you start shaking, that means you're sensitive to conflict. And, that's normal. That's totally normal. Nobody wants to be in conflict with, their adrenaline rushing, thinking they're about to die. I mean, sometimes it's fun, like a roller coaster ride, but other times it's generally scary because you don't know how far it'll escalate. Thankfully, the conflicts I have been in have been more like professional at work, more insidious ones without physical violence, but people do start yelling. But yeah, I haven't been in any, like, I got in like one fist fight. No, two. Yeah, I got in a two. Whatever. If you are on the sensitive side, if you didn't grow up in the hood, if you didn't grow up fighting people, if you're not naturally aggressive and rambunctious, there are certain types of people you should avoid going into conflict with. And these are the NPCs, non-player characters, psychopaths, sociopaths, high-level functioning narcissists. Do not go into conflict with these people. You need to avoid it if you can. Now, a lot of times it's unavoidable, but the thing is that after a conflict, you're going to leave the interaction feeling some type of emotions. And if you're a highly sensitive person, if you're highly empathetic, that non-player character who generally doesn't operate on emotion, they're just like a vessel, and they're built for conflict. They're built for chaos and destruction. Like it's their nature. They don't feel all of these emotions inside where they will be like shaking, or they'll feel anxiety or nervousness, which is the reason why it's so dangerous to get into conflict with these people, is because at the end of the interaction, you are opening yourself up energetically, where they get an opening. They get an opening in you, and generally you'll feel emotions right in the pit of your stomach, in your solar plexus. Now, this is so uncomfortable for the highly sensitive person to feel. So that person who you are arguing with, during the interaction, this person was basically like, they bring up, these people love conflict. Like I said, they thrive on it. So they bring up all of their nasty emotions that they don't want to feel, that they want to project, and they throw it into your solar plexus energetically. Now, this is all an energetic exchange that you can't physically see, but it's happening. You're going to be able to feel this. You're going to be able to feel it after the interaction. When you walk away and it's over, you're going to feel like really yucky. And all you have to do is just focus on the emotion. Breathe. You may feel like uncomfortable hollowness in the inside, and anxiety, and a nervousness deep within. And it's going to feel uncomfortable because it's not your energy. It's the other person's energy that got latched into you from you opening up that energetic exchange with them. So I'm still working on this myself. I don't know how to avoid this. Like I said, the best remedy is just to avoid entering any energetic exchange with this person. It doesn't matter if you're right in front of them. If you're right in front of them, it's worse. Try to like turn to the side a bit. Try not to be like head on to them. Unless you're brave and you just wanna expose yourself to that, then go ahead, face them face to face, look them dead in the eye, don't care, whatever you'll do with the unsettling emotions afterwards. You can overcome it. You'll get right back into your flow. It's very easy to disperse and dispel that nasty energy. Just focus on the emotions, breathe through it. Sometimes you might cry, or you can just sit in the grass, hug a tree, do yoga, some meditation, and boom, it's gone. Just like that. I forgot about it, whatever. So these are low vibrational emotions that you felt. And if you are, eating healthy, going to sleep, taking care of yourself, if you're a generally positive person, you can easily get that out your body. But if you are on the same energetic frequency as that, psychopath, that non-player character, that NPC, then, you know, it's probably not a big deal to you. You probably walk away with the interaction like nothing ever happened. Because your energy centers are probably closed up and your program is just to like perform, like keep the system going. So you're generally good if you're like an NPC or emotionless, or have all of your chakras closed. You don't have to deal with those yucky emotions at the end of the day. So having your energy open, it's a pro and it's a con. You feel life through your veins better, more quicker, and you're generally more happy than the average person who has their energy closed up and is just like mean, always want to argue. So, avoid getting into arguments with those people. I said why. You'll walk away with yucky emotions. To get rid of those emotions, just spend time out in nature, breathe, yoga, meditation, workout, detox, drink water, take some electrolytes, vitamins, whatever. Sauna helps. And you know how you can feel those emotions leaving your body? It'll come out a lot of times in the form of flatulence, burps, just if you're like breathing like out like you can feel it leave your body sometimes. Take an Epsom salt bath with a lot of like oils. You'll feel 10 times loads better. Journal it out, everything. Do what you have to do to get that energy out. Okay, so like I said, the first part of winning in conflict, embracing conflict, winning arguments, is controlling your emotions. So you got to learn how to control your emotions. This, like I said, I dabbled in some organic medicinal grass green medicine to really help me with that. It helped me to neutralize my nervous system. It helped me to just have more of an equilibrium, so I won't like stand out so much, be super high energy or super low energy. And I'm not saying, I did not do it every day. I just did it for that moment to where I wanted to, dive deep into my practice and my body work. I'm always doing body work. And I don't smoke anymore. I don't do that anymore because I don't really feel the need to. Plus, I'm in Texas, so yeah. But anyways, what else? Okay, yes, control your own emotions. Be able to be solid in your own energy. You have to become so solid to where nothing can shake you. Take nothing personal. Nothing is personal. It's not about you. It's never about you. So just keep breathing. And always keep breathing. Like never stop breathing. Always feel your feet on the ground. Always be like feeling the weight in your hand, feeling your energy. Never become stuck. Like don't hold your energy in your stomach or your hips. Because if you're in an argument with somebody and they're low vibrational and your energy gets trapped, they can attack you and latch their energy into that spot where you're gripping your energy at, and you don't want that. That could make an injury happen, honestly, and then you feel like, oh, my hip's hurting and I don't know why, my shoulder's hurting, I don't know why. That's because somebody latched into your energy. That happened to me in my old job. I would always get energetically attacked by someone, and I always like saw them giving me like the death stare, and I would go home and my shoulder would hurt, and like that's exactly the direction they were giving me the death stare. But I learned how to deal with it, and I got stronger. The more you spend time out in nature, the stronger your nervous system gets. It's able to hold more energy. It's able to disperse more energy. It's able to let go of other people's energy quicker. So spending time out in nature, like actually sitting in the grass, sitting on a tree, putting your hand on the tree, putting the soles of your feet down in the dirt will really help you balance your energy and always take deep breaths. Like, always take deep breaths. Okay, so that's the first thing. You have to control your own energy. Second thing is to know your opponent. You have to know who you're arguing with. You have to know who you're coming into conflict with to know how to move. So staying fluid really helps with this. You gotta be like water. Don't go in there being like fire, because that's just chaos and you're gonna burn out quick. You're not gonna be able to, keep going back and forth in this interaction like a ping pong. So you gotta be fluid, almost like a snake throughout the interaction. So knowing your opponent is so crucial. So I work a customer service job, and I can tell who I'm speaking with a lot of times by how they respond to my questions. So I'm naturally a nice person, and had to learn to come from a position of power rather than a position of serving what I've been programmed to do, even though that's not my nature. A position of serving. I'm not a server. I tried to be one. I was terrible at it. I'm not a server. So, when I first started in customer service, I've been working in customer service a long time, and it's one of the easiest jobs to get. Nobody wants to do it, right? So, you might, a good customer service person would be like, "Hi, how may I help you?" And that puts you like in the down position from the start. So lately, coming from a position of power, instead of starting off like that, they're gonna take that for weakness a lot of times. If you come in like too subservient, too warm, too friendly, you don't want to be like that. Like I said, you want to be at an equilibrium. Not too high on the pedestal, not too low like a peasant. So I ask like, "Hi," just straight up hi, not like hi, like hi, just a equal, regular hi, like a robot, neutral. Just be like hi. Not too much voice inflection, because people take that as weakness, they'll take that as nervousness, they'll take it as anxiety. And when I say come from a place of power, you want to ask like, "Hi, what's your concern?" You can be like, "Hi, how are you doing today?" They'll be like, "Ya ya 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 da la 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 la." I'll be like, "Okay, let me help you." And then you say, "Okay, what's your concern here?" Boom. That is a great question of authority and power. What's your concern here? Not like, "How may I help you?" Not like a peasant. You're like, "What's your concern here?" And some people are very like knowledgeable, like automatically knowledgeable at how to take on like what position you're coming from. And some people, they get offended. I've had people that got offended when I say, "What's your concern?" Like they'll be like, "Well, it's not a concern." And instantly from that, I'm like, I know I'm dealing with someone who's a little bit on the narcissistic spectrum or psychopathy, because the average person would have had no issues with me asking, "Hi, how are you? What's your concern here?" But that person who caught on to the fact that I asked a question that put me in a position of power and they got offended, I know this is going to be somebody that's going to like be more aggressive. Because most people wouldn't care. They'll just be like, tell you what their issue is. So that's part of knowing your opponent, knowing how their voice sounds, knowing the inflections in their voice, really listening. If they're in front of you, looking at their facial expressions. Are they relaxed? Is their face relaxed? Is their face tense? Are they smiling too hard? Are they like trying to hide like who they really are deep down inside? Is this like a character? Is this like a performer? Is this like a person who's deeply insecure? Like you have to size up your opponent, which for me happens naturally. I'm very intuitive. I'm extremely intuitive. Like I can look at someone and instantly know who they are. I can instantly know who they are. And a lot of times they give themselves away just by being who they are, just by their body language. So you really want to be on the lookout for body language, how they walk, how they stand. I'm not one to really like focus on people like that because I'm always like minding my business and worrying about myself. But if you want to win an argument, you can look at all these things. I don't like hyper focusing on people. It makes me uncomfortable when people do it to me. So I just like naturally like pick it up through like little glances here and there. I'm not one to just stare at people like that. But yeah, you know, it is in your best interest to get a feel of their body language, who they are, how they're going to maneuver this interaction, and what move you should make next. All right, number 3. First thing is control your emotions. Number 2, know your opponent. Once you've got a little bit of sense of who your opponent is, then you need to focusing on listening. So winning an argument and coming out as graceful, poised, competent, and trustworthy, you have to be a good listener. And I'm not perfect at this. This is something I'm working on too. You can't talk over people. Do not talk over people. And I know some people ramble. Like people say more than what they need to say, and they ramble, and they take the conversation all through the whole maze before getting to the finish line. I mean, you see this in Facebook posts where people write a whole 3 paragraphs when they could have just said 2 sentences. And people do this in everyday interactions, and it drives me nuts. But I'm still patient. I'm still there. I'm still listening to them with an open heart. And I'm still taking on everything they said. I'm kind of repeating it back to myself in my head and just sitting there listening and waiting until they finish. God, this is one of the hardest things to do as a human being. This is one of the hardest things to do. But once you, meditation helps with this. I try not to meditate too much because I lose my assertiveness when I meditate too much. You know, it depends on who you are. If you have a lot of mental chatter in your head to where you're always like go, go, go and never can get your mind to stop from racing, then meditation is really good for you. You should try to meditate as long as you can. If you are more like an airhead like me, I'm not saying an airhead in like a dumb kind of way, but more like able to be without thoughts, able to have that space for yourself and others, and you're just naturally airy and can sit in silence for a long time, can spend hours by yourself and be okay, and you're just naturally like meditative like that without a lot of worry and a lot of thoughts, then you should only meditate for like 30 minutes to an hour. Because if you meditate too much, and this happened to me, I meditated too much and it made my reaction time like way slower. It made me less assertive. It made me open for attacks because I was just like so airy. I was like on another dimension, and it took me some time to hear the person, recognize what they said, and to come back down to the 3D realm so I can be here with them. So, you know, I don't have that luxury of being woo-woo out there all the time, even though it feels great. I'm not gonna lie to you. I can only meditate for, I meditate for a limited amount of time because I try to stay grounded. Like I need to focus on staying grounded here rather than connecting with my higher self more, since I'm more naturally connected. Now, some people have the opposite problem to where, you know, they're naturally grounded here in the 3D, like they feel comfortable here, like this is their realm, this is their world, this is where they dominate, and they excel here, but they have no connection to like spiritual realm or their higher self, and they can only like they don't have that in and out. They can only be here. Like those people can meditate, they need to meditate as long as they can, so they can balance out their energy from being grounded to connecting with their higher self. Now, some people have the opposite problem, like me, to where I'm naturally kind of out there and I need to be more grounded. Now, this is what makes relationships so fun. Because if you find somebody who's naturally grounded and then the other person is more like connected to the spiritual realm and they come together, you feed off of each other's energy. They help you with where you're weak at, and you know, they might be stronger in where you're weak at, and you guys have this just natural resonance, and you want to spend time around that person because you feel like, you know, they help you balance out your energy more. While that is great to find someone like that, and you can definitely learn from them, it is so important to balance out your own energy so you won't be like clingy or, you know, always trying to be up under this person because you came into this world by yourself. You're going to die by yourself. You are your own entity. So don't latch on to other people for dear life. You know, like just work on your energy so you can feel at peace and whole as one. Number one, control your emotions. That's part of controlling your emotions, getting your energy together. It's very important to have both energies, to be connected into this world and to have that connection to your higher self. That will give you so much leverage energetically alone to where people won't even mess with you. They'll be like, I don't know what I'm getting into, and they'll kind of get like scared off just because they're not used to things they don't understand. And the average person is not as energetically balanced in the world we live in here. Okay, so I was saying, what was I saying before? Okay, I was saying, what was I saying? Shit. Okay, I was saying it's good to have that balance of energy. You know, some people call it like, oh, balancing the masculine and feminine. I do think that's very literal and it's played out because it gets people too much in their head. They'll be like masculine, feminine, they think man and woman, and it's really not about that. Like our energies are so interchangeable, and I think when you're thinking about, you know, how to win in arguments, gender roles can be very they can get you like stuck, you know, and we don't want that. You have to be fluid, like I said, like a snake, like water, like a river in these interactions. You don't want to get caught in your head and be thinking like, oh, I'm a woman, so I have to be more demure. No, you don't. Or I'm a man, so I have to like be more bravado. No, you don't. You just have to breathe, feel your own energy, and listen. That's the first step. Breathe, feel your own energy, and listen. You know, I feel like it's now a trend to talk about what's masculine and feminine and gender roles. It can get you stuck in a box, and that's not who you are. You know, in the terms of energies, we're more fluid than that. You know, it's different in relationships. Sure, if you want to be in the roles, that's great. But here we're working on dealing with conflict and how to win an argument. So you have to be very fluid like a snake. Just because you're a woman doesn't mean you can't get down and dirty in these arguments. Just because you're a man doesn't mean you can't cry in these arguments. You know, this is about winning an argument. So if you have a card to play, you got to play it. You can't care at all. Don't care what people think. That's another good tip in winning an argument. Okay, so another tip is, like I said, become a very good listener. The person's going to give you everything you need to win in the argument. You just have to listen and put it in the back of your mind in your toolbox, because a lot of times people will try to bullshit you. They will say things that make no sense to try to confuse you and try to get you to do what they want. So by breathing, by constantly feeling your body, having that equilibrium of energy, being a good listener, you can call them out on their bullshit. Nothing overt. You can just be like if they say something contradicting, you bring it up. You be like, oh, did you say, after they're finished talking, you say, oh, did you say da 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 da? How is da 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 when da 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 da? And then you let them speak, and then they'll try to make sense of what they said that did not make sense. So that's your winning point right there. I mean, they obviously just said something that contradicted themselves. They made no sense. So you automatically see who's the loser there in the argument. Now, if you're arguing with somebody who's getting loud, nasty, and rude, it is so important for you to stay calm. Stay calm. If you want to win, you have to stay calm. Winning arguments doesn't mean screaming the loudest. It doesn't mean who can throw the biggest insult. It doesn't mean who can be more witty. It's about who can maintain their energy the longest and walk out of the interaction as unwounded as possible. So always remain calm. When people start yelling, you gotta try to calm them down. If you want to come from a mature stance, it depends, because sometimes you wake up on the wrong side of the bed and you want to match energy. But winning is all about keeping your emotions in check and staying calm. It's going to infuriate them more. Now, there's times when I stay calm and the person's energy is just so aggressive to where I feel like they're closing in on me. And sometimes you just have to fight fire with fire and push them off you energetically by surprising them with being bold, matching their energy. If they yelled and said something at you, you don't have to yell, but you can get more stern and you can increase the volume of your voice. Don't yell, but you can increase the volume of your voice and just kind of like flick them off you with your voice inflection, or it can even be a facial expression, like an intense, serious look that will signal them to you can back the fuck up a little bit, give me some room, so to say, without saying it. And a lot of times they're bluffing. A lot of times the most aggressive people are the softest ones. God, I have noticed this growing up in New Orleans, man. The people that roar the loudest are generally the weakest. So do not be scared by people who are aggressive off the bat. But like I said in the beginning, know your opponent. Some people are generally scary, the psychopaths, sociopaths, some NPCs, know your opponent. But you have to sense if this person is being aggressive because some people are just ignorant. Some people are generally scared. Some people are generally scared and need your help, and they just don't know how to express it without crying, so they yell. They're gonna yell, and it's up to you to calm them down. You can be like, hey, it's okay, I'm here, I'm listening to you, I'm here for you. Let's just calm down a bit so I can understand you clearly and help you as best as I can, so we can have an equal understanding. You have to calm them down. Now, this is tough as well because, I'm naturally empathetic and I'm kind of jaded at being put in the position of the mothering martyr type. That that role has played out in my family generations for a long ass time. And quite frankly, I'm sick of it. Like, this is part of me breaking my generational curses to not always be in that, not always have people rely on me to be put in that mothering, giving, nursing role when it's not necessary. And a lot of people naturally fall into this role, and honestly, it's disgusting. I mean, I get it. Like, people are programmed to be that so other people can feel more comfortable. But, you know, if you're a woman in an argument, don't resort to the mothering role. Like, yes, you may have kids. Yes, everybody in your family may rely on you for mothering support, but don't just give that energy to strangers. Like, it's going to backfire on you. You know, keep that energy for yourself and your kids, and really use it if you know you're talking to somebody in pain. I mean, it's your choice. You don't have to help them. You don't have to extend your empathy to them. But I mean, you know, if you're nice and want to make the world a better place or whatever, you can, you know, use that, you know, feminine energy, they call it, that mothering kind energy to calm that person down. Now, like I said, it does backfire sometimes. Some people get more. You have to make sure you're doing it on somebody who's genuinely like sad, like genuinely needs your help, like genuinely is like arguing, yelling because they're sad, not because they are just a-holes who want to one up on you. So, you know, you can use that for a give and take. And, you know, most people are not this fluid in conversation, you know, so it'll shock them a lot of times that you're so patient and you're so like being present with them. They will, like, if they were mean, they will calm down. Like, they will calm down because they're just like taken aback by the experience you're giving them to like be there and actually listen to them, and just to like not interrupt them during the conversation. Now, I know I said this was about winning an argument, but it's so important to have your energy in check, have your energy healthy, have your energy at its most optimal level by taking care of yourself and equalizing your energy in different ways and listening. Those two things right there will help you win an argument. As long as it's not like a psychopath or a sociopath who will see, you know, you're able to listen and you have a healthy energy. Some people will try to like try you just for the sake of trying you and get aggressive with you to get you out of your character, or try to get as aggressive with you as possible. So, like I was saying, those two things right there will help you win the argument. It's like you don't even need to do anything. Most people will submit to you and just relax because you're listening to them. Other people will go crazy, fly off the handle because they're triggered. They're like, you know, what kind of witchcraft is this? This person is calm, they're listening to me, like what's going on? Some people are not used to it and they'll get triggered. But like I said, you just gotta breathe, keep going through the conversation, and really stay logical. Staying logical is the best thing ever. Like, it's really hard for me to argue when I'm tired because I can't get my facts straight and I don't really have the facts to back myself up because I'm just so tired. But if you stay logical and, you know, ask them questions about what they're telling you to make sure everything they're saying makes sense. And once you find out it doesn't make sense, you know, you tell them why it doesn't make sense. And they'll tell you why it makes sense. And then you tell them why it doesn't make sense and what you've done, what you've looked at. And then it'll just be like this back and forth. And if it's a back and forth, you know, you gotta be the bigger person end it. Be like, you know what? I think it's a waste of both of our times going back and forth. Let's just agree to disagree, and I can come back to you with this later to see if we can find a resolution. Now, if you just want to shut it down right there, never to talk to them again, then you can be like, I'm sorry, but I have not found that anything you said is based on logical facts within my research and my conclusions, and there's nothing that I can do. And you end it there, and you won the argument. Yay, you won. Just like that. See, arguing doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Especially if you keep your energy nice and right and listen to the other person. Now, if you're dealing with somebody rude who's insulting you, then you insult them back. And you know, I'm very much a very honest person, and this has been repressed in me a lot to not be so rude, what people call rude. You know, our society has conditioned itself to function on lies and family dynamics, you know, TV shows, movies, and, you know, it just makes, it gives us that nice cushion to realize how toxic we may or may not be. But I love the truth, and so if somebody insults you, you insult them right back with something that is based on a true insecurity. Be like, oh, you know, I can see why you feel that way. You know, you're generally not a healthy eater and you don't spend time in the gym. So I can see why you would comment on my body or my looks. You know, it's totally fine, and I get it, and I'm here for you. Do you need help with, you know, your eating regimen? We can work out together if that'll make you feel better. Something like that. If they're attacking your looks, or if there's just so many different ways. So yeah, I hope I helped you guys with how to win an argument and how to face conflict in a poised and graceful manner. Thanks for tuning in. See you soon.